YouTube, what is happening? Hope all is good. We're back with an update and the first update of Prep 2025. Today is the 3rd of February and it's the proper start date for Prep. And I wanted to film this now so we can do another one in a month's time, 2 months' time, to really show how the prep is going along. Because as I've said to you, I want to document every single part of this prep as much as I can in detail as well, to show what it's like to go from where I am now to where I want to get to. And obviously it being my first time on stage, it's obviously all going to be new to me as well, and I want to take you along it as much as possible on everything that we're doing on a week-to-week basis, because that's what YouTube is for. You only see a snippet of that on Instagram and all the other social medias, but YouTube is a place for me to give you a lot of detail on how things are going. So that's what we're going to do today, is run you through a full update of what the plan is. We're currently 19 weeks out, which has kind of hit me a little bit. I'm just back from Paris, and I also got engaged, which is a little bit weird. I don't have herself here with me now as well, but that's out the way now before prep, so we can start ramping things up again. And it's probably a couple of weeks. I'm glad I've done that now as well. A couple of weeks before I start getting angry and start getting into prep mode. So that's done, and now we can just be locked in for prep. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Stress levels are probably a little bit higher before we got engaged, getting the ring and all that kind of crack and just having to go and do that. But I'm glad I've it done now, and we'll have the wedding probably in a couple of years' time. But 19 weeks out as of today. I was actually thinking that we were about 20 weeks out, but Keen has assured me we should be 19 weeks out if we are correct. Today is also check-in day, so today is D-Day, and prep has officially begun. We did that first couple of weeks, you would have seen in the last couple of videos, to get us ready for it, and lose that first couple of kilo that were kind of just hanging around that shitty weight. We're in a good position now, and this is the best starting position I've ever had going into a prep. And it is only my first prep for the stage, but I've done obviously the 2 photo shoot preps. This is definitely the best position I've been in, muscle mass wise and body fat levels. My body composition is the best that it's been, starting a diet and starting a prep. So I'm happy across the board. Obviously things could have been better, across the board, but I'm happy, right? So I've got the laptop pulled up here, and just to run through what the current setup is and the plan of action for the start. We are sitting as of this morning at 87.3 kilo. We went up to, at the end of the push-up and around Christmas time, to a max of about 90, in and around that. We jumped up a small little bit a couple of weeks and then jumping back down, and it was up and down a small little bit, but we've lost off those first couple of kilos that was just that shitty weight, and we're sitting as of this morning 87.3. The lowest I hit last week was 87, and I lost about a kilo when myself and Dan were in Paris, because I was fairly lax, not doing the bollocks on it with food and drink, but just enjoying myself at the same time, because I didn't want to be in prep mode when I could be away enjoying myself with Dan. That's one thing, being in prep mode, and that's for me to be selfish with over the next 19 to 30 weeks, depending on how long we obviously aim to do for this prep, how many shows we decide to do. But that was a week there where I could just be with herself, and now come home and be locked into prep, and it's a prep, and I can be selfish. So we're 87.3 kilo as of this morning, and I do predict we will be down possibly below 70 kilo for a finish, to be honest. And I know that is very, very light, but I haven't a huge amount of muscle, I have to understand that. My first photo shoot prep, I think I finished up at around 66 kilo. My second photo shoot, I wasn't quite as lean, but I did have a little bit more muscle. I was around 68 or 69 kilo, if I can remember. I don't think I'll be too far off that for this prep. Yeah, in the last couple of months, there definitely has been a lot of muscle built, from obviously being on cycle and, properly focusing on training and nutrition and absolutely being locked in for that duration. But again, I do want to be the leanest I've ever been, so that's probably an extra couple of kilo to lose as well in that duration of time. So updates in from Keen this morning. We're back on cycle about 2 weeks now. So we were in a health phase, cruising, trying to get a little bit healthier before the prep cycle kicked in. We're back on cycle about 2 weeks. Nothing that anyone needs to know about really. We're just running test, primo, clen is in. We have test, primo, clen. That's it at the moment. Things will start to ramp up. Tren will be added in. We've growth hormone in actually as well. We will have yohimbine in there as the weeks go along, T3 and T4. More and more will get added in as time goes along, which again is expensive. So it's just something, like I was saying to you in recent videos, you just want to be, cautious of if that's a decision you're going to make, especially going into a prep. There is different things that have to be used and it will be expensive. So I've definitely noticed that from ordering the bits and bobs over the last couple of weeks, and it's something that I was cautious of, and that's a decision I made, so we're just running with it now. Especially growth hormone, like that stuff is not cheap, but I'm doing what I need to do now, and it is what it is. So I'm excited for it, and just excited to see what happens, over the next couple of weeks. Cardio, we are currently at 7 30-minute sessions a day. That just got bumped up this morning. We started prep at 7 20-minute sessions. So we're now at 7 30-minute sessions. I'm pretty sure we started at 7 20-minute sessions, or it could have been 5 20-minute sessions. Anyway, now we're at 7 days, 30 minutes cardio across the board. Steps are at 12,000. And then food, which is obviously the nicest part of it, is 2,840 on a training day and 2,690 on a rest day. 220 protein across the board, 400 carb on a training day and 340 gram of carb on a rest day. 40 fat on a training day, 50 fat on a rest day, and that's spread out across 5 meals as much as I can. I want to be on a meal plan that I've made for myself now. Keen adjust the macros, I make an adjustment to my meal plan. That's the way I've always run it, and that's the way I run best off. I make my own meal plan, food stay the exact same. It's the most consistent I can be with it, and then when Keen makes an adjustment, I can just pull food away from the meal plan. And a big thing that's changed for me this time compared to a last prep, and will hold that for the entirety of this prep, is actually being a bodybuilder with my nutrition, not just trying to save food for the end of the day, and not just trying to focus on not eating for the first 8 hours of the day and then trying to squeeze all my food in at the end of the day, and just being so food focused. I'm trying to hold off that food focus for as long as I can and be eating my meals throughout the day on time, and hitting protein servings every couple of hours throughout the day so I can get the most out of it. They're all those little 1%ers that I want to do right this time compared to what I haven't done the last couple of preps that I've done, and gaining phases as well. So that's where food is at. That's where cardio steps are at. The full setup as a whole. Training as well, we're obviously at 5 sessions: push, density, rest, push, lower, upper, rest. And that's the setup that we're running at. Training has been going well. We're obviously out in the new bodybuilding gym, where you're going to see a lot of us in this prep as well, and we're locked in there as well. Legs is the only thing at the moment that I can't really train properly out in the new bodybuilding. They don't have an adductor machine, and because we're obviously aiming for bodybuilding, adductors is a big part of that, and because we're aiming to continue to grow over these next 12, 15, 16 weeks being on cycle, adductors need a lot of work as well. It's all and well for my men's physique show doing less legs, but because I'm going to get on a pair of bodybuilding trunks, I need adductors to be obviously trained as well a lot. So we're going to probably do legs in the bodybuilding in Raheen, the gym that I've been training out over the last couple of months, and then the rest of our sessions probably being in Kuna. So that story with the training. Training's been going well. You're obviously going to see a lot more in depth of that on different videos as well, so stay tuned for them. But we are 19 weeks out from the first show, which is a PCA first timers on the 28th of June. It's in Derby. It's near Birmingham anyway. So we're obviously going over to the UK for the first show. There's not really any shows in Ireland that I am looking at. We've obviously got this muscle contest and stuff in May. I'm pretty sure it's in May, isn't it?
May 16th.
May 16th. But if I was to do a show like that, I'm going to get blown out of the water. Main thing for me this year is just, for myself. I'm very far off the mark in terms of muscle mass that I need to be competitive. But the one thing that I know that I can do is get in condition. So that's my main focus this year, is to get peeled to the bone. And over these next 19 weeks, I get as peeled to the point that I can't get any leaner. That's my main thing. And as I've been saying to you in the last couple of videos, is I think where the level of condition that I'm looking at and wanting to bring will probably come after that first show and between the next couple of shows, bridging between the shows. And it's just a case of seeing where we're at come that first show with the level of condition we're at, whether we'll do bodybuilding or we'll do men's physique for that first show. It all depends on conditioning, and I don't mind which it is. I was always in the bodybuilding camp, but when I was relatively lean a couple of months ago, I started whipping a few men's physique poses and stuff, and we kind of liked the men's physique shots, even though I've only done one men's physique pose, and I've yet to start posing, which is another thing we need to crack on with next week, is do men's physique as well. So I'm going to do a men's physique show, at least one, and at least one bodybuilding show, and see where we land and see what sort of criteria we fit best in. But that's pretty much it. 19 weeks out, back on cycle. We are sitting at 87.3 kilo as of this morning. I'm also gunning for the photo shoot on the 25th of May, our Team CBC group photo shoot, which we've got a lot of lads in at the moment. If you are still, on the fence, as man would say, to jump on board, and do that photo shoot, and you're in a position where, you're not relatively, and you're not too overweight, we could say, there is a chance for you to jump in on that as well. So if you do want to chat to me a little bit more about that, do let me know. And we could see about working that in. And we will be doing a group photo shoot later on in the year as well, which we have clients that are in their gain of phases for now, or in their, pre-prep phases where we're doing a diet, moving into a gain of phase, and then we're aiming for that second group photo shoot. But current focus is to get lean for that photo shoot first, have the laugh with the clients that are doing that. Obviously, I haven't done a photo shoot in a couple of years. Don's never done a photo shoot of me either, so we'll have a laugh doing that, getting a couple of shots, and then we'll be gunning for the first show then 4 weeks later. So we have a big prep ahead of us, a lot of weeks. Our main thing really now is just to stay locked in. I've definitely over the last couple of weeks gotten into the prep mindset, which does take a little bit of time as well. And now it's just a case of doing the do day in and day out, being on top of routine and nailing things across the board and just taking it one day at a time. If I'm nailing my training, my expenditure and my food today, that's all I'm worried about. I don't want to be worried about what I'm doing next week, or what's coming next week, how much cardio I'm going to have to do next week. All I need to focus on is what I'm doing today and doing that every single day this week, because the time will go by very quick. And if I miss things here and there, that's what will lead me to not being in the condition that I want to be in. And that's the last thing I want to do, is stand up on that stage knowing that I've fucked it here and there. Knowing that I messed up on my diet here, or I binged there because I was feeling a bit sorry for myself and I was tired someday. Like, it is going to be gritty, but it's the decision I've made to do it myself, is to prep. And I've been saying I'm going to prep now for the last 5 or 6 years. So we're finally doing it, and the more I say it on here, the more you hold me accountable as well. And that's why I want to do this, to show you the journey as well as much as possible. The support over the last couple of weeks, the last couple of months on YouTube since I got back on it has been unreal. And I want to continue growing this little channel as much as we possibly can, and help as many of you as I possibly can on here as well. Whether that's you doing your cardio as well and trying to pass the time, whether that's you trying to get into bodybuilding for the first time, learning how to build muscle inside the gym, learn how to approach your nutrition properly. Whatever it is the case that you're doing, I hope that you can help, because I've been probably in every position that you've been in, or any of you that are in at the moment, and that's why I know I can help you as well. But that's it. 19 weeks out. Come along for the journey. Drop the video a like. Comment something down below that you might want to see throughout prep. If there's any more, details you want to see as we do these updates. Obviously, things will get a little bit more exciting when we start doing, more updates on the monthly basis or on the weekly basis as things go along. But we'll leave you there. We're about to go try and push. So you'll see that on the channel next week as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate all the support as always, and I'll chat to you in the next one.